All right, welcome back to another episode of Off the Cuff. To my right, I got my brother from Florida, Rodney. How's it going?
Howdy, folks. How's it going? I'm doing great here, man. About to actually head to the airport tomorrow to actually visit Mike in Utah. So looking forward to that.
Lucky dog.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, how's it going?
Going really good. I am about to head to the airport as well to pick up Rodney. What a coincidence.
All right, man. Make sure you got the tank filled up, man. Get the AC going in the car.
Yeah, we may have to sleep in the car. AC may be down.
Sleep at mom's house.
Oh man, that'd be tight. Well, it's good to see you guys. It's been a little over a week. Tonight's topic is
Quick drinks check. I'm sorry.
oh yeah.
Black and tan, Yingling.
Oh, you want the
look
black
at
and
you.
tan.
Look at you.
What about you, Mike?
I have nothing. I have nothing.
You ain't got a
thing.
water, anything?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
I have a brew free or die tropical IPA. You know, in honor of 4th of July.
You got Mount Rushmore on there, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had the
Yeah, those things are all closely connected. The tropics, Mount Rushmore in
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
the
thinking.
Dakotas, and July 4th. Yeah, it's
and IPAs.
yeah, and IPAs all very closely connected.
Touche. So tonight's podcast is going to be we've done a lot of sports and movies. I thought it would be nice to do a little podcast to show some appreciation and how much we love our wives. So I think this could be a fun podcast. Really off the cuff for me. I didn't prepare by any means because I feel I could talk about things that I love about Sarah very easily. So this could be a good thing or it could backfire.
Well, they don't know we're talking about this either, so they're totally blind. Like we didn't tell them we're going to talk about this too. So
Yeah,
and they probably wouldn't want this subject. They're like, yeah, no, don't do that. You know,
that's true too.
Knowing them, they're like, oh, that's corny. You're not going to do that. Yeah, whatever. You know?
Yeah.
But,
Sarah,
well, they don't get to tell us what we do. How about that?
Yeah.
Sarah kept asking me last week. She's like, "So what are you guys doing?" And like, normally she doesn't push that much, and I was just like, I don't know. We're probably just gonna go off the cuff on this one. And she's like, "Okay, well, it sounds like you guys are keeping this one a little secretive." It's like,
man, Roger, she got the.
I know, man.
Got you dialed in.
I don't read me like a book, I guess. I don't know. So, where do we start?
How about you? How about you do a top three things I love about my wife.
All right, we'll start off with the third and then work around.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go first? Because I have to put these in order.
Yeah, this is hard. Well, it's hard to oh, well, maybe we could do something a little easier. Maybe we could do like, if we didn't have our wives, what would be the things that we miss most? Or maybe you could also think about the things that you rely on most from your wife, or any of those three things you could think of to help come up with your answers.
Okay.
You first, Roger.
Go first, Raj. Start it off.
So what I'm thinking of these things in my head, like, it's almost a wonder that I'm still alive and I'm a father of 2 kids. Sarah does so much for this family. And I don't tell her enough. I mean, of course I tell her, but the amount of things, just when I was thinking about this topic, when it comes to making a dinner menu every week for us plus 2 kids, ordering groceries, getting groceries, picking out the girls' outfits. I mean, it's a huge amount of work, especially her being pregnant, and we have 2 kids under 4. Um, it's a ton of work, and she was working full time just until recently. It's kind of hard to fathom the workload she puts on herself, and she does it, from what I see, effortlessly. Um, and it doesn't get praised enough. As much as I try to praise her, it's simply amazing how this family when I for me, when I think about what things, like if Sarah went on vacation or stuff, like, and she has gone to help her mom, like, it's daunting what I have to do to get the girls ready for the next day for daycare. And I think that's one of the things I love about her, is her ability to plan and look ahead, and uh, be prepared. We're, as a family, we're always prepared, and like, me as a single person before marriage and all this was not prepared very well for a lot of things. I know that's a mouthful, that's a lot, but it really is a lot that she does on a daily basis that I kind of take for granted.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I just hit my 24th mirror. I better get this right. And before I start this, fair warning, I'm not trying to get any new golf clubs, or anything like that. So, Arida, this is from the bottom of my heart. I'm not trying to, sell you anything. But anyways,
Yeah.
no. So we've been married 24 years, and that's exactly right. So when you find a wife or a partner, whatever you want to call it, and you just gel and you just connect, you do take things for granted. Um, the little things, man, like, she takes care, to me, she takes care of all the bills. And that seems like, a simple thing. But if I don't have a clue what any of our bills are, like, if she left, I wouldn't know what the cable bill was, what the internet bill was, what the water bill was. I would have no clue what the hell we're paying for.
It's exactly.
So she takes care of all of that effortlessly. Like, it's like a magic trick. I don't know how bills get paid. And I think she spoiled me, and I take that for granted, that I don't have to deal with the headaches of paying for the house, doing this. And a lot of times when, 20 years ago, this was a lot harder because we didn't have auto pay, we didn't have the internet as much. So, but she took care of all of that. So that's just one little simple thing that I really take her for granted. And she's put up with my ass for freaking years. And, just, she grew up in the Philippines, so she has a different cultural background than people that grew up kind of in the States. So in her mind, she always wanted to be a mom. She always wanted to be a wife. When you're a province girl, you're kind of groomed that way to say, hey, you're going to have 10 kids. You're not going to have any money, but you're sure going to have a lot of kids, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get married. You're gonna grow a family. So the reason why I bring that up is that when I met her, she wanted to have all that 100%. And I was like, wow, man, I don't know if I could just handle this right away, having a kid and having this and having that. And one of the things I appreciated about her, this is coming from a very straight Catholic kind of background, where women are expected to have kids at an early age back then, not so much now. I said, let's wait 4 or 5 years. And I could tell that it kind of took a toll on her. She wanted to have kids so early. So we waited 5 years when I got married to have kids. And I hate using that word lucky that I found her, but because I think luck kind of takes, it kind of gives you an impression that you're not in really in control of everything. But I think that, I am fortunate to have, that she walked into my life wanting all these things, and it just kind of made it easier. The marriage made it easier. And she wanted to take care of me. She wanted to have a family. She was really into, she wanted to be a great wife. And I could tell from the bat that she wanted to be that great wife. Now, obviously, 20 years later, we have teenagers. Like she said, hey, make your own damn, dinner now, so things different, things evolve. She's evolved from being this province girl that took care of everything. I would take a shower. I'd come out the shower. She'd have my clothes set out on the bed for me. That's how, that's the level of like, that's how she kind of took care of me when we first got married. Like dinner was on the table when I got home from work every day, on the time, hot, ready to go. Like she relished that job. Now it's different. So she's evolved, I evolved. But yeah, I mean, I do take her for granted, like I said. And I think it's great to kind of give people positive and try to appreciation nowadays. So that's just a couple things that I really appreciate about her.
Yeah, and the cultural aspect has a huge play in there. Sarah, growing up, in a very heavy church background where a lot is expected of mothers, and so there is that expectation, not from me, but I think from themselves, that they put on themselves a lot. And like you said, Arida has, evolved and grown, and so have you. And even in our, marriage, which isn't as, as long as both you guys, but it is interesting that all of our wives have kind of a different cultural background to the backdrop of all of this.
Right.
Well, I guess it's my turn. So a lot of the things I appreciate about Anna is that she's it's sort of the stuff I look up to and admire, and a lot of it is that she's so motivated. She's a driver, and her motivation makes me motivated, but that seems kind of surface, but that trickles out to just about everything, right? And into how we take care of our kids, how we, the things that we do to push like family activities, the things, when I talk about driver or motivated, I feel like because she's so motivated, we do a lot of things that maybe if it was just up to me, we wouldn't do. There's a lot of trips we may not go on if it was just left up to me, and which is stupid because I want to do these things too, right? I want to do all the things that she's doing, but because she's so out there and in the front and thinking about this stuff all the time, she pushes to do these things. And I'm with you guys. Like she does a lot for our family, just a ton for our family. She's I'm the bill payer, but she's the organized one. And but one of the things that I love about her is that we've fallen into a really good groove of helping each other and supporting each other, and really giving each other space to do what we need to do with our careers, and supporting each other through all that stuff. And she, there were years during like the recession where those years were rough for me, like mentally, financially, everything. And she supported me all through those things and didn't even bat an eye. And so, I deeply love her for all those things. And, we've just been, the thing that I feel most blessed is that we've been just really great partners from the first day. I mean, just really great partners. And, it's hard to imagine that I could have accomplished that with anybody else. Like, is it possible? I guess, but you know, I can't imagine that I personally would be able to go out and replicate that again. It just doesn't seem possible, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she and a lot of that is due to her, right? So it's like she allows me the space to do the things that I love to do, and I do my best to support her, you know, and the things that she wants to do. Which the stupid thing is, the things I want to do are all like, hey, I want to go have fun personally, and the thing she wants to do is, hey, let's make our house better, you know, let's make our living space better, or let's do something for the kids, which is all needs to be done, and I'm happy to do it. I actually wish she would go do more personal stuff for herself. I really
Yeah.
want that for her, and I feel like because she's so driven, like she doesn't give herself space for that, and I really want her to do that. Like I want to, you know, and she has occasionally, like she'll come out and see you, Raj, right? By herself and take time. But again, that's like she does that in service of others a little
To
bit,
help
right?
other people, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So, and I admire her for that. You know, I mean, just like this weekend, you know, she spent. I mean, here she's a professional. Her title is like she has a big title, right? She has a
Yeah.
serious career, and she spent all Saturday in like damn near 100-degree heat in a food truck that has a freaking, you know, grill going the entire time, and it's hot as hell in there. And she spent the whole day helping some other people, you know, for
Yeah.
nothing, for her mom, because that's what she wants to do for her mom, and support her mom. So those are the things that I admire about her and love.
Yeah, you know, I I feel the same way about Sarah when it comes to like, it's like, hey Sarah, I want to buy a computer so I could start a podcast with my friends. Like, it doesn't necessarily enrich the family by any means. So when I think back on this stuff, it's like I want Sarah to be not selfish, but to do more things for her, because she does so much for the family that sometimes I do feel the guilt of, you know, spending an hour with you guys, you know, every weekend. Like, hey, yeah, we got the podcast. And a lot of stuff she does is always like planning stuff for the family. Like, hey, I signed us up to go to the water park on Saturday. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I have a blast doing it, but uh, it's always for the betterment of me and the kids. And it's hard to do that because I don't do it. I wish I did it more, but it's a good point you made there, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with my wife, she's a military spouse. So I've moved around different countries all my career for 20 years, and she's
Yeah.
never complained. She's always
Dude.
with me. And I definitely took that for granted, where she had to uproot herself too,
Yeah.
you know, and she's always worked full time since we've been married,
Yeah.
without question. Even though she said, you know, hey, I want to start having kids. She didn't stop working. You know what? She said, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna watch kids at our house. And I'd come home and she'd have, you know, 7 or 8 kids in her house with her baby, with our son, watching these kids 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
That's
There, you
crazy,
know,
dude. Like,
and
Dude,
I'd
I've
come
never
home.
met anybody more comfortable around like screaming kids and like
yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
than
gosh, man.
than a writer.
She's
It's
a
crazy.
kid whisperer, and she really loves her job. And I asked her one day, why do you love your job so much? I mean, are you taking care of like screaming through you? She goes, I grew up very poor, and I didn't have a childhood. I had to learn how to make rice with a fire in the backyard at the age of, you know, 6 or 7. I had to take care of my siblings. Like, you know what I do when I go to work? I play Ring Around the Rosies. I sing songs. I dance. I take them to the park. It's not really a job for me. I'm kind of reliving my life as a childhood. You know, that's what I do. And
I mean, that's awesome. You find a job that you love, and they say you
Yeah,
never
and
work a day in
it
your
blows my mind. It's hard to believe. Like these kids would drive me crazy, but she
life.
absolutely loves her job, man.
Dude. Yeah,
Um,
I can't even imagine it. I can't even fathom
and
doing it for like 2 days in a row.
yeah, and she is very yeah, she's very selfless. Like she does she's so good with like saving. She's been thrifty all her life, and um she doesn't spend a lot of stuff on herself either. It's always for it's always for her kids, it's always for me. And she'll, one day I was deployed for a year, and one of her things that she said is like, hey, you want to go to the British Open golfing? This girl hates golf, nothing to want to do with golf, but she bought tickets to the British Open in Scotland, um, to surprise me, hundreds of dollars a ticket. And she went with me and she sat through it. And she doesn't like golf, but she acted, she did it for me. And she always does little things, things like that, where she does, take care of our finances, only just because she's so good at it. And if I took care of our finances, gee, man, we'd be broke, bro. But she does such a good time at it. But if I say, hey, I want to get this, I want to get that, she's never said, okay, no, you can't do that. She goes, fine, hey, get what you want, stuff like that. So I kind of take her for granted for doing kind of the hard, messy kind of headache work.
Yeah.
And she's I've made some, honestly, I mean, some bad decisions that she stuck by me, and she supported me. And there were very selfish decisions I made in my life. I've had some low points, and without her, man, I don't know if I'd be in the same place as a father, as a person, with my career. So she's definitely been the glue in my life and my career also. So I owe everything to her, man. I really do owe everything to her, dude. So
Yeah, the whole military spouse is a tough burden. Also, I mean, there's a lot of picking up. Um, I think it's, Roddy, for you and I, like when we move somewhere, it's like we have a very big support group with the people we work with. So it's a little different for spouses because they don't always get the amount of support we get. So I think that makes it hard too, is, Sarah became really good friends with some people, and then they left because they had a PCS somewhere. So it's kind of hard to maintain, like always having to move, and maintaining those, friendships with, as being a spouse. So it's a little more difficult, and that's a burden, man. It's tough. And with Arida growing up on the more poverty side of, growing up in the Philippines, that's very similar to Sarah. Uh, her family didn't make a whole lot of money. They grew up, moving around a lot in the Carolinas. They didn't have a lot of money. So she is also very thrifty with, you know, always finding the best deals on stuff. And she takes care of our finances. It's like she's got a Excel spreadsheet that has everything. Um, if I had to pay the bills, I would have no idea what to do.
okay, so yeah, that's
Yeah, like I
that's how I
wouldn't,
feel, man.
I wouldn't know my login to my
Yeah,
bank accounts or anything.
exactly.
And then, you know, she'll be like, oh, I got these outfits on sale. I got 3 outfits for $350 for the kids. And it's like, great, I'm asking for a $200 controller for my Xbox, and you're, being thrifty with the, like, then again, it's like, I'm feeling guilty for the way I spend things, but you're right, man. Like, she is definitely the glue in our family and hold us all together. So it's something I absolutely love about her, and she's always been that way. So
Cool. I mean, my wife, she's a hell of a cook too. That's why I'm gaining so much weight, bro. I gotta watch out, man.
Arida is a phenomenal cook.
And then, I mean, she loves
Like-
cooking also.
She's God tier cook level.
Yeah, she is. You know what's so funny? Arida, I think I probably know about at least half of what you eat, Rodney, because she posts pictures of it on Facebook.
I don't know. It's a Filipino thing, man.
It
She
is a
has to
Filipino
post
thing.
Everything.
And I'm always like, gosh, man, look at that spread.
I know, man.
I'm like,
always-
just like a casual Monday night. Hey,
Yeah.
let's whip out a bam.
It's like
Yeah.
adobo, sinigang, chicken wings, Monday night.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
Yeah.
not just one. Like I'll be like, hey, we're having wings tonight. Not a ride.
That's after an
Wing,
8-hour workday, dude.
Adobo. Yeah.
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 And it's,
That's
I
after
always,
an 8-hour workday. And
it's-
she has a garden too now that she tends to. And yeah, she's super busy, man. Man, she needs to slow down and, like you said, enjoy. Start enjoy. That's why I said, you know what, you're gonna relax on this vacation. You're gonna be lazy. You're gonna relax. Drink some tea, or watch some Netflix and just relax, man. That's what she's gonna do. So.
yeah,
Well,
but you
it's
know
gonna
where
be so
she's
hot
gonna
in my
be?
house, she won't have much of a choice but to not move a lot.
She's probably gonna be cooking a whole lot.
But she enjoys cooking. Like, she really
Yeah.
enjoys cooking. Like last Saturday, dude, a friend called her up and she's like, hey, can you make me some lumpia? Like, lumpia is not something you just whip up in
No,
5
dude.
minutes. This ain't
That's a-
ramen you're talking about.
That's
It takes
She didn't
time.
have the she didn't have the ingredients. She had to go back to the store. This is her day off. She said, oh yeah, I'm happy to do this. She hangs up the phone. I'm like, we don't have anything to cook this stuff. Oh, no problem. I could just go to the store and get it. I'm like, so she goes to the store, gets all the ingredients, comes back, makes the lumpia, and then gives it to her friend. And I go, well, how much did you charge him? They go, free. It's nothing. I'm like, so you took 5 or 6 hours out of your day on a Saturday to make lumpia for your friend. She goes, I'll charge him next time. Like, that's the kind of person she is, dude. And she really enjoyed doing it. I'm like, wow.
Dude, that is hard. Like the show pals that y'all's mom taught me to make.
Yeah.
Like, I like doing that stuff, but it's so labor intensive. And your mom, I remember your mom would do it and she'd sell them for like $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And then she's like, when I learned to do it, she was like, Mike, do you want to help me make some? I'm like, we're gonna $10 a piece. Like, man, I ain't doing all this for $1. Like, it's like, if you're ordering for me, it's expensive because I'm like worn out when I cook. Like lumpia is that way. It's labor intensive. Like,
yeah, it takes time.
yeah. And so, yeah, you gotta love it. And I like cooking, but they love, like, your mom and Arida love cooking.
Yeah, they do.
Sarah does the same thing for Ariella and Charlotte's teachers. Whenever there's like a holiday, like, she bakes cookies and they're themed for whatever holiday it is. And it's literally like a 5-day process of making the dough, baking the cookies, letting them set, making the icing, decorating them. And a lot of times I'm just like, babe, this is you're doing 5 days work for 4th of July cookies, like, while you're working full time. Like, this is but she loves doing it. And of course, I think it's a ton of work. And that's just another thing that shows, she loves taking care of the people that take care of our kids. But yeah, it's labor intensive. It's a lot of work. And sometimes, she'll stress and be like, every time she makes them, she's like, they don't look that good. It's like, babe, these things look amazing. Like, of course, she's a big critic of her own work, but
Yeah, she could make some pretty cute cookies, man.
yeah.
One thing I do
does.
appreciate about Sarah Roger is that she is a pastry and sweets connoisseur, like myself.
Yeah.
Like myself, she's really the only one that I could really speak to on that level.
Yeah.
No one, y'all don't really appreciate it the way we do. I mean, you like it, but you don't love it,
Sarah
Yeah,
just seems so calm too, Rod. She doesn't seem like she doesn't lose her temper, or she's just so calm and sweet. Like, we had we were there for her birthday last year, right?
yeah.
And there was some salmon there, and we ate it all, and she really wanted some salmon. And I keep remembering that she didn't even complain. She was just like I still to this day I feel so bad that she didn't have salmon left over, and she just kind of was like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's okay. Like she's so calm, and she's that guiding voice in your family where it doesn't seem she gets rattled too much, and um, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, she I mean, yeah, I mean I guess that's just how she was raised, you know. I mean,
yeah. And I mean, that's a
the-
good trait to have with 3 kids you're gonna have, man. You gotta
oh,
have a
yeah,
calming voice in that, because your hair is gonna turn ash white here in about 2 years, bro.
there already is, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so she's tough, man. She grew up with 2 older brothers. Her mom and dad were strict but reasonable, you know. I mean, growing up as like a pastor's kid, there's a lot of expectations of, you know, being that kid. So early on, she's always had a ton of pressure to always be at the top of her game. And, you know, she tells me about that sometimes, of, you know, the pressures of growing up that way. And it's difficult, man. So she's definitely hardened. Being a female who served in the military is also hard. So, you know, the stereotypical things like, you know, when a female in the military is like stern with their like subordinate, it's like, oh, she's just being a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if a guy does it, it's like, oh yeah, he's a good leader. He need, you know, he demands respect from his guys. Like it's a totally different perspective coming from a woman in the military. So she's seen that side of it too. So she's very smart, and, you know, she's adapted, and she knows how to go about those things.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right, man. What else we got? Is there any other important questions we need to answer on this subject?
Um, you know, I think I have to give praise on uh, my vacation to Portugal. So when I was stationed in Kuwait, Sarah wanted to go to a European country to go on vacation. We'd kind of, you know, meet out in the middle. And she was like, how about Portugal? And I'm like, Portugal? Why would we go to Portugal? But, you know, it's like, sure, you want to go to Portugal? Let's go to Portugal. So we go to Portugal for like, I think 20 days. And what she planned was phenomenal, dude. We basically got a car, which she obviously reserved before this ever happened. And we drove around Portugal, seeing different sites for like 2 or 3 weeks. And it was awesome, dude. Like everything was planned out from where we stayed, where we visited, the route we took, the places we ate at. She researched places to go eat. We ate at this like hole in the wall, which is like the size of, you know, my floor here, and it was phenomenal. Um, so she has a knack at planning things like that, which is amazing.
Yeah, Rod is the same way, man. She loves planning trips. All the trips we had in Europe, that was her making. She planned 100% of our trips. That trips that we took to Spain, Mike. She planned all that, dude. Like she one day and planned all that stuff. So she loves doing that too, man. And she's a great organizer. She's a great multitasker. And even today, like I was, trying to get stuff done as far as, when you're packing for a trip, you're getting ready to fly. I was a little anxious, a little nervous, and trying to figure out what I'm going to bring, what I'm going to wear. And she said, hey, I'll help you out. I'll take care of it. And I kind of snapped at her a little bit, unfortunately, and she kind of understood. And she's like, I'll help you pack and all this good stuff. And kind of feel bad about that now thinking about it. But I'm such a fucking asshole sometimes. But just your relationship is gonna evolve, and she's evolved, and it's hard to really do that sometimes, instead of saying, what, hey, asshole, pack your own shit. She's like, she's so mature than me, and she's just like, yeah, I am an asshole sometimes, and it's just like you said, and all our wives deserve all the credit in the world, dude.
They really do, man.
So.
And I think that's why I kind of love this topic is I hear a lot of like toxic relationships, not so much in my current work environment, but being in the military, you kind of hear a lot of toxic marriages. And that's one thing I love about us is, it seems we all have our soulmates, and I love hearing about, your wives and obviously my sister. So it's you guys are good examples to try to emulate for me. And that's awesome. I love that we all have great open relationships with our wives, because a lot of people don't have that. So I'm very thankful and happy for that.
Statistics say that one of us will be divorced, 1 out of 3, right? So hopefully, maybe we're doing something right. And back to Anna, our sister. Like, I grew up with Anna, obviously, and she's never done she's never done anything for her. She's never wanted anything for herself. She's never done anything for herself. And I really do hope that she does start really taking care of herself as far as what she really wants, because she is one of the most unselfish people I've ever known in my life, like to this day. And this, Rod, this 100% about Anna.
Yeah.
That's just how and she's always been like that as a kid. She never did anything really for herself. She never really wanted anything for herself, So
yeah. I think she really loves family, like whether it's direct family or family she hadn't seen in years. Like when she planned the family vacation, like in Michigan, like that was all because of Anna. And
she's spearheaded that.
I haven't seen those people in like 20 years, and we had a blast, man. Like that Embry family reunion was,
that was awesome.
It was amazing, man. I'll hold those memories, forever.
Yeah.
Well, and that she, I think there's a lot of, I've questioned her several times throughout our lives together. Like, why, I want you to go do something. Why don't you go do something? Why don't you invite your friends and go do something? Well, those are not the things that she looks forward to or wants to do.
Yeah.
Right. So, where I selfishly may gravitate towards a mountain bike ride or going to play poker or something like that, that's not what she's gravitating to. Like, she's gravitating to, well, what are we going to do for the kids? I mean, the perfect example actually is our recent trip to Boston. And that came about because I said, you know what? Our anniversary's coming up, and I'm going to surprise her. And I don't know if I'm the worst person at delivering a surprise in the world, or which that could be, or that she is the most nosiest, prying. Like, if the second she thinks anything's up, she is relentless. And so I finally said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan a vacation to Boston, just me and you for anniversary. Doesn't that sound great? And there's this long pause, long pause, like just drawn out. Well, and she knew what she was going to say, and she knew how I'd react. And she goes, why don't we bring the kids? I'm like, no, why don't we not bring the kids? She did. And
Yeah, that's
so
just
of
like her,
course-
man. That's so.
so of course
Anna.
I put my foot down and we took the kids.
Yeah, that is so Anna, man.
And
Uh,
so those are the things that make her happy. I mean, I can count on one hand the number of vacations that we took just as a couple, well, since we've had children. And so those are like, it's obvious, like, you know, that's what makes her happy. That's when she's having the funnest. So for me to go, hey, let's go do something together, just me and you, that's more for me. And
yeah.
then for her, I need to always remember, hey, why don't we go do something together with the family? That's what makes her happy. And so, but you always think, well, if we go, couples night, date night, isn't that a great idea? We should do that all the time, once a month, no big, man, that never happens. And which is fine. It's completely fine that it never happens, but it doesn't happen because she wants, those things are in place of, let's go do something with the kids, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's
thing about
absolutely-
Anna,
Anna.
if you have a conversation with her for an hour, a stranger, and you don't mention where she works, and at the end she told you, I could work at Walmart, I could be the head epidemiologist in the state of Utah, or I could work at the mall. You wouldn't really know where she worked because she's so unassuming. She's so humble. She doesn't, like Mike said, she has a big position. Like she's a big deal. Like she
Yeah.
rubs elbows with like governors and shit. Like you wouldn't know what the truth was by just talking to her. Does that make sense? This is how she is, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
She works that food truck like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Food truck-
yeah. Like
Food truck to a state epidemiologist. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Yep. By the way, Rodney, when you come out, boy, they're going to be staring at you hard this weekend. So we're doing the food truck on Saturday. What are you guys doing?
dude, man, they gotta
And-
have they gotta have a Filipino looking guy in the food truck.
Oh,
man.
no
I
kidding,
guess,
man.
man.
People like, the line gets shorter if they see me in there working the grill.
It's like a bunch of white dudes making sushi.
Yeah, they
like, oh,
see
shit.
they see your mom. Like, I'll tell you what, man, the white people that walk up to this thing, your mom, okay, your mom is an integral part of this operation for the mere fact that she provides the story around the food, right? So it's Lola's Filipino American food, but she provides that like, authentic, real authentic thing because she's kind of out mixing it with the crowd, talking people up, getting real snippy with them a little bit, and they love it. The white people love getting talked down to. It's just the best. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I have this huge grin on my face whenever she takes over and starts serving food. It's just so great. It's so great. So anyway,
Cool.
that's a little. Yeah,
All right,
quite on
guys, we
subject.
should wrap it up, man. It's getting late in the East Coast, so see you in a few hours, Mike.
All right, man.
All right, yeah, it's been fun. And I think Rodney mentioned at the very beginning, this isn't us asking for anything in particular. And once the idea was brought up, all of us pretty much instantly were like, yes, let's do it. So if you made it this long, because you guys probably haven't watched the very end of our podcast, we love you and thanks for doing what you do.